You know, no one really told me that at the age of 38, my life would really change. That I would begin to have chronic pain. And I would need to have brain surgery. In 2019 is when I had that surgery, right before COVID, a month before COVID. That I would wake up and they would fix the problem in my head, but I would actually have contracted meningitis. No one told me that I would spend about 5 years in bed for most of that time because I was in so much pain.
Lights, camera, action. We're back for your satisfaction from Action Business Furniture Studios is where it's happening. We have a special guest star appearance today from Melissa Biron. I know, this is going to be a really awesome conversation. And now, your host, Jonathan Biron. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody that's here. We got a new upgrade. I think everybody in the room knows, but we have 8 panels in this video, so see how that plays out. Drop comments if you're watching. How does that show up on your screen? Are you enjoying seeing all of our faces at the same time? And to everybody in the room, like Dave and Val that are looking at their phones right now, and James that seems to be looking at something on the table. Everybody is looking at you. We are, this is like a big, like, what is it, Brady Bunch? Like, we're all,
Oh, yeah.
but all at the same time. So we'll see how this goes. And just to anybody that's watching at home, comment, let us know, what would you like us to talk about? How does this interact for you? We really want this to be a conversation, not just with the people in the room, but with you, our audience at home. Obviously, if you're watching the rerun on YouTube, you can't interact with us live, but if you're watching live on Facebook, we want to hear it. Give us even just a thumbs up to let us know that you're here and tuned in. I think it's been pretty well made known that our guest today, my wife of 22 years today is our literal anniversary. Melissa, welcome.
really?
Oh, it's your
Did you really not know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, we buried the lead.
She's the better half.
Literally.
I'm seeing it.
What's the connection?
Okay, yeah, I had no idea.
What's the connection to 7-Eleven?
So, oh yeah, thanks,
Today's
Dave. Today is 7-Eleven, and
Good to have
7-Eleven, the store, is giving away free Slurpees
I do it every year.
every year on 7-Eleven.
On their
So
anniversary.
For your anniversary.
this is our big yes. We actually.
Is that what you
wrote
get
in-
for a free Slurpee every
That's,
year?
that's our anniversary gift to each other, and also we wrote into 7-Eleven. We're like, hey, let's really make this day
Spare
special.
no expense, John. Spare no expense. Anything for you, sweetheart.
Exactly. Here, as my,
Very generous.
So, as always, we're going to go around the room and introduce the people that are sitting here at the table. If you're watching live on Facebook, please take a moment to comment who you are, what you do, how people can get in touch with you, and we will shout you out if we get a chance. But this is an interactive opportunity to really just get the word out about who's doing what in the community and how can we help serve each other. Rob, you're on my left. You always get to get us kicked off.
Well, yeah, see, that's why I picked I'm here in time, picked a chair.
Yes.
So, hi everyone, Rob Ruder, Idic Designs, and I am in the world to help business owners with technology, maximizing the value and reducing the costs to make sure you are getting the results you need from technology. So whether it's cybersecurity, digital marketing, business services, if you need to improve your game, Idic Designs, we plan and implement what's best for you.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hi everybody, I'm Dave Ribble from Standout Mastery, and if you are in a mindset of being of service to other people, then we'd love to talk to you because that's what we talk about at Standout Mastery. If you're not standing out, I mean, how are they going to know you're there? That's your question for today. Dave Ribble, Standout Mastery.
James, most people know that I'm not there. Big question where I am. Anyways, I'm a J2K Sales Pros. I do business consulting, sales coaching, anything with your business basically to help with marketing and whatnot. And some of the businesses I've worked with are Golden Roll Brakes, Roof Max as clients, and Raptor Roofing, as well as soon to be Action Furniture.
Ah, all right,
Cool.
excellent. James, the camera is loving your thermos more than you.
That's why I brought it.
Yeah, you might toss that on the ground and maybe.
I was feeling
focus
more
on you.
ugly today than usual.
It's a beautiful thermos. And you're looking swell today.
And
buddy.
put her down here.
There
And
you
it talks.
go. It's
Yeah, it's better looking, so I figured.
Hello, I'm Zane with Zebra Go. So if your business is standing out because of Dave's awesome help, people know who you are, but if you can't get to the phone, that's where we step in. Make sure that while you're doing what you wanted to start your business to do, we can help with the administrative side, answer calls, communicate with your customers, just whatever you need to help you do what you like to do instead of all the boring stuff. So Zebra Go, we'd love to help you out.
excellent. Welcome.
Right on. My name's Val Money, and I'm a realtor with Deese Realty, and I'm out to change lives, be it through real estate or a cup of coffee, one or the other. We're going to change some lives, so that's why I'm here. And I'd like to invite everybody to the Journey to Growth Our Connect event on Tuesday, July 15th. I think it starts at 5:30. And if you're interested in taking your life and business forward, then you're welcome to join us on the 15th. Register now. I think we're up to 72 people.
Awesome. I'm gonna jump in on that. When we first started, like that started getting promoted, it was 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. I was like, oh wow, that's like coming, it's just that's next week.
Yeah.
Like, and we just, did we say Wednesday, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So like, that's, if you're thinking about going to that and you haven't signed up, we'll put the link, sign up for that. That's gonna be a cool thing.
Yeah,
Where
right.
is it at?
Burgundy,
Burgundy and Sullivan.
Yeah,
5:30.
excellent.
My name is Melissa Biron, and I am with Thrive Wellness, and what I do is I help people figure out what they want in their life, whether it be health and well-being in their own bodies, their mind, their marriage, their family, with their kids, anything like that. I can help you out with that.
Excellent, welcome.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that topic a little bit more in just a minute. I am Jonathan Byron. I'm host of this here Friday Conversation and a realtor. And since we have another realtor in the room, I won't jump too much into the real estate side of things because Val is the guy that you can call, absolutely.
Thanks, Jonathan.
So we'll focus a little bit more on the community building aspect, and particularly Melissa and I coach together, and our goal is to help you thrive. So we are a team. If you kind of have just wanted to get your health back on track and you're feeling, that's what we do. We help you with very easy to follow coaching, get you there. Way more to it than we're going to get into in this moment, but we would love to talk to you about that, and today will be a little bit about that. But overall, that is how we'd like to serve in this particular capacity. Mike?
Hello, I'm going to talk to you guys about Spokane new build permits for residences. So in the last 15 years, there have been 4,968 new build permits submitted to the county. Most of those are for homes. This includes apartments as well. In 2015, there was a bullwhip. That means the baseline goes up like a whip, goes up like an L shape, and brought the baseline level to a higher threshold. However, the threshold is still consistent and is not, it's kind of random, but it doesn't have any predictability to it. So we can't really predict how many new residences are going to be built. There is around 7,000 people per precinct in Spokane County. So if we look at less than 5,000 houses built in the last 15 years, that's probably increased by one precinct. So that's all I got for now. Till next week.
I believe in advanced technology, such as artificial intelligence. I think we can drive a lot of economic efficiencies. We can be fiscally responsible by leaning into AI. I attend the AI Mixer every month in Spokane. We have a large and growing AI community. It's quite the brain trust. Right here in Spokane, Spokane Valley, we have the most organized, thoughtful AI teams you will ever see. The best. They're working on all kinds of issues, many of them directly benefiting citizens of Spokane Valley, just like you and me.
Boom. Love it. Thank you, Mike. So I would love to give a plug for each and every person that just talked, because as you guys are sharing, I'm like, yes, I want to emphasize it, but I do want to say something that I became more aware of this week is the importance of data with AI. So if you're thinking about getting into AI, and I've started like some teaser conversations, there's more coming about that, about AI, we're going to get into it, but if you're kind of looking at getting into AI, an important aspect of it is the data. It almost is everything. So if you're curious about AI and you need the data, I really shout out to Data Mining Mike, who has been hounding that data for how long now? Since
2020.
Since 2020, hounding down the data. And we have a few additions to the room. We do not need to go in a circle. We've made it around full circle, but I really need to hear from these two ladies. So, Mandy, you're already settled. Tell us your name that I just...
Yes,
spoiler alert.
Mandy Karstensen, my mortgage Mandy with Q Home Loans. I know as a small business owner, there's a lot of obstacles when it comes to getting loans for homes, and I have a lot of specialty programs because we are the backbone of society and you should be supported. So glad to be here.
Welcome.
Love it. Welcome. Merity, same thing. Spoiler alert, I killed your name.
I'm Merity, sorry, the bus was late. I am a virtual assistant on Mock Avenue Virtual Services. Forgot that for a minute. Do editing, any online type thing that you need, and also open for whatever you, in person.
Excellent.
Going in, the being there. Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Yes.
Welcome. And for you guys that just joined, I've already told everybody we've switched, the software upgraded, so now we have an 8-panel display, so the chances that you are on camera is exponentially higher. Like you will probably be on camera most of the time, so if you really need to pick your nose or something like that, step out of the room, or just know that everyone's gonna see you digging for gold. So with all of that out of the way, and I am going to do a quick, who else is watching online? Matthew Guzman is watching. Shout out to Matthew Guzman. Do we have any other comments? Dave, Rob, are you going to keep an eye on comments?
Yeah, I'm watching comments, but I'm going to do my perennial thing.
Yes.
We are calling in from Action Business Furniture on East Sprague at the corner of Park and East Sprague. And they have been very generous, giving us a big table space, and we encourage you, if you need furniture, anything to make your business space more gracious and more inviting to your customers, check them out. And come join us on Friday afternoons from 3 to 4.
Excellent, love it, perfect, thank you, Rob.
Yes.
All right, I think we've got all of the pleasantries out of the way. I physically distanced myself because Mike encouraged me to have the curtain as a backdrop. So for those of you in the room, it's not because one or the other of us stinks. We're just trying to, visuals and all of that stuff. So is it all right if I just hand it off to you?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So John actually doesn't really know a lot of what I'm talking about today, which is kind of fun.
Sorry, John.
I'm going to be kind of vulnerable and let you guys into our life a little bit. I'm actually a little choked up just thinking about that. For those of you that just walked in, today is actually our 22nd anniversary. And that's a huge thing. And just the weight of that alone makes me pause, really. So today, I'm gonna bring up the topic of quality time remaining, or QTR. I'm not really the one that came up with this idea, but it was really Ed Milet, and he is a huge hero of mine and someone that I listen to just about daily for the last several months. So I've definitely got to give him credit for that. But when you think about that topic of quality time remaining, I think it's really easy to think about, okay, how long do my parents have to live, and how much more time am I going to spend with my parents? But really, I want you guys to be thinking about something else. So how much time do we have to live? To be healthy, have healthy relationships, have a healthy marriage, and have a healthy relationship with our children. How much time do we really have? We, us, you. So it's not really about how much time we have to live, but how much we really choose to live that life. You know, no one really told me that at the age of 38, my life would really change. That I would begin to have chronic pain, and I would need to have brain surgery. In 2019 is when I had that surgery, right before COVID, a month before COVID. That I would wake up and they would fix the problem in my head, but I would actually have contracted meningitis. No one told me that I would spend about 5 years in bed for most of that time because I was in so much pain. No one told me that all that pain would almost be way too much to bear. No one told me that my stress would be so much that my relationship with my husband would suffer. And that the relationship that I had with my kids would suffer immensely, drastically, actually. So what do I do with that information? How do I have those quality time remaining moments? Well, now I go on walks with my husband. I get on the floor with our daughter Isabella and play games because that is her love, is playing a game. I listen to our middle son's new story. His name is Eleazar, and he's always writing. And I have our oldest, Leonidas, hop in the car with me. And I listen to his new scheme of how he's going to make money. Do these things take a lot of time? Not really. They really don't. But I'm present and I'm fully in the moment in those times. No cell phone, just enjoying the moment. The results, my relationship with John is amazing. My kids are now feeling seen, heard, and valued. So my question to you is, what are those QTR moments that you have missed out on because of work, stress, illness, or something else? And what can you do to change that? So what can you do to change that?
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So what kind of brain cancer was it? Brain cancer?
I didn't have brain
Is that
cancer.
pituitary gland?
I had something called trigeminal neuralgia, and you have different nerves in your head. And I had blood vessels and an artery pushed up and wrapped around that nerve.
Oh, wow.
So it causes extreme pain in the head for all different reasons. And because it's a nerve, it causes a whole host of other things like passing out or just nerve pain in different areas of my body.
My ex-wife in 2020 had she had a cyst for 10 years. The reason we found it on her pituitary gland on her brain, which is like your main
Yeah.
correspondent area. She got hit by a drunk driver in the morning in Orange County, and they'd found it, and we had followed it for years. And then we were moved back to Orange County, or moved back to Spokane, and literally the day I moved all of our animals and everybody up, she had to have surgery on her pituitary gland. And it changes, like, she had passed out before after giving blood and different stuff like that, and coded. And then she coded again after that. And it changes like everything. You know, sadly, we got a divorce out of nowhere one day. Her brain surgery, she was never the same person, and decided like a month later she didn't want to be married. But I can tell, I can sympathize with both of you, that's very life-changing. I'm sure for the person too, and you being on the other side. For me, I wish I had more information to understand what was happening, because I think a lot of people who it's happening to, they're gathering the information, and you're supposed to understand what's happening, but you can't, because I don't think that person's even understanding what's happening inside their head.
Yeah.
And like it changes, like I know it affects like beating up children, it affects like your emotions and different things like that. So for me in that situation, I wish I was more sympathetic. I wish I was more understanding of even what happened, because what I thought was a lot smaller than what reality was. And I think like in a lot of things we can do that with people, is they only let us know so much, or we only know so much. So we kind of treat it not as severe maybe as what it is or what that person's going through. And then you can't ever fix that. But it's good that you guys fixed that, and that you guys, you know, you're going on the other side and working that out.
Something that you touched on there, that Zane and I have talked about this, and Kelsey's not here, but Kelsey and I talked about it. There's a really interesting, and it's super important, I think, and I'm becoming more aware of it, and the word vulnerability comes to mind, or even just like vocalizing. And what Zane and I were talking about is we both have this shared experience of going through something, and in this case we're talking about with our kids, and sharing with somebody outside of that, and that person being like, wow, I can't imagine, or you know, something, and like it just all of a sudden hit me in that moment, and then sharing that now with several people, that a lot of times we're not aware of the bigness of the thing that we're going through, and we process so much internally. We don't have these times to talk in groups or one-on-one. And I don't want to speak for you, James, but like, had you had a conversation with somebody that was almost that like slap across the face of like, dude, you are going through something, don't minimize this. And like, oh yeah, I am going through something. This is something that I need to give more attention to than I realized. And that's something that I feel like we were blessed that early on in it, there was this like, oh, there's more to this. In fact, I remember, there's many moments along the way, and that's another aspect of this, but I remember a moment where Melissa shared something with mutual acquaintance of ours, just friends of ours, and the way that she worded what we were going through was very different than how I would have worded it. And the exact wording, I don't remember exactly, but it was like, we are struggling. I'm like, we're not struggling, we're fine. And then of course the guy rational, well, she's struggling, right? You know, like that thought entered my mind. And something in all of that interaction checked me where I was like, no. If she's going through something, we are going through something. And it changed how I perceived it, and I did. I started looking for help, outside help. Like, I'm not getting it. I'm not there for her the way that she needs me to be. And we sought help together, which is another huge aspect of that.
But wouldn't you also say, Melissa, that you were a little bit concerned about whether or not you were holding up your end of this?
Oh, absolutely.
And whether or not you didn't want to overburden John.
Absolutely.
With all of that, and so there's that balance of how much do I really honestly say here?
Yeah.
And how much is more than he needs to know versus him saying, you gotta tell me everything. I don't know, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I 100% think that's true. I think it's very easy for, well, I was gonna say women, but I think guys and girls to want to protect their loved one. And I really wanted to protect my relationship with John. So I didn't want to be vulnerable and share all the things that were going on, like really going on. And when I was able to start doing that, there were definitely the moments of like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's really true. But then I remember that moment of sharing with a mutual friend, and he was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like we actually we are really struggling, we really do need help. And how do we do that? Instead of me going to get therapy, because it's my issue, like how can we work together and see a counselor together and work together, go forward together, instead of me just going, and getting help and figuring out what the problem is.
Yeah, I would say with mine, we were moving, so I had found out she scheduled her thing in 3 weeks. And so 3 weeks, I had to move the whole house out of state. We had 3 dogs, 2 cats, 2 bunnies. And I had to take those by myself up there and then Airbnb. So her mom stayed with her. And so she had coded one night and her mom told her not to call me. And I was supposed to be the first call, not to get too into the weeds. But a lot of it is timing, right? Like sometimes things happen and mine was just like, okay, I need to move everything. I need to make sure she's okay. Family's okay with it. And then you get back and then things change. But I think, it's probably hard for that person going through it to fully explain what they're going through because they don't want to scare you. But at the same time, they need sympathy, is what I kind of realized afterwards, is that they're needing it, but they're not expressing it to you of what they're needing and kind of expecting you to just pick that up, which is kind of hard. But, learning just to maybe ask questions more of different things.
Yeah.
What's the question again?
The
And QTR.
Yeah, quality time remaining,
Right.
QTR. So my question is, what are those quality time remaining moments you have missed out on due to different circumstances? You're talking about your wife, and we all have things, right? We all have so many different things: work, stress, illness, something else. And what can you do to change that, starting today, to have those quality time remaining moments?
So I've been thinking as you were talking about that, because a lot of times I think we all do this, but first off, there's not ever just one thing, right?
Absolutely.
Like there's the stress that we all feel because we're human and we feel stress. But then there's so many different things going on and it just compiles, and I've been thinking a lot lately, mostly with the help of my wife. But the stress really does rob us of that joy. Like I noticed I've been trying to be more present with my kids and with my wife, and we're very busy right now with she's in grad school, working, and lots of stuff going on. But there's lots of good things happening, but because of some of the other stressors that we have going on, it's hard to feel happy about all the good things. And so I just kind of had that realization that, I can be there and I can be doing the fun things with my family and trying to be there with the kids. But if I'm still in the back of my mind worrying, then my memory of the event kind of goes away, and then the stress is just constant. So you can never really feel joy or relief or just having a good time. So that's been my focus lately is, all right, can I do anything about what's stressing me out right now in this moment? Then I'm going to try to shift my focus away from that. And I say try because it's really hard.
Yeah.
What's really hard?
shifting your focus away from the stress, because it's heavy, it's there, it's something bogging you down. So you can try to shift away from it and it helps, but I don't think we're always successful at that.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it does take you the road you want. I just turned 60 last fall, and so I'm wondering how many moments of life I do have left. I was in a 12-year relationship with somebody who was just kind of like, I spent most of my life trying to like cover up his, like 12 years trying to cover up, you know, he was like Mr. Magoo, you know, Mr. Magoo walking through and the ladders are falling. And so I spent most of my, and then I got out of that and I moved here to have an adventure and nothing. The job I lined up fell through. I got in a car accident and totaled my car and fractured my sternum and made it worse because of the hustle culture. So I decided to go back to work instead of dealing with the pain. So I made it worse by self-sabotaging myself. And so now I'm just kind of like, what next? And I'm trying to have the positive mindset to move forward. Yes, it is hard. I yelled at my cat this morning and I felt really bad because I took away the joy of him just being a cat. He was just being a
What's
cat.
his name? Is it Bubble?
Loki.
Loki.
He wanted to hunt mice.
Good name for a cat.
And that's a great accident. I yelled at him.
Well, Jonathan and Mandy and maybe Robert know this story a lot because I've complained a bunch. But in 2011, I got bit by a rattlesnake, and it turned my life upside down. And at the same time, I had a major spine problem. So I spent about a year and a half in bed in fiery levels of intense, hellish pain that would just like lick up the back of my brain and drive me crazy. And during that time, I produced a lot of art. I had a couple gallery shows. I did stuff during that painful time, but it was exquisitely painful. And it liberated me in a sense because before getting bit by a rattlesnake, I had a lot of concerns about what people think of me. You know, like, oh, I mean, there's so many things the rattlesnake bite did for me, but on that note, it was like, why would I be concerned what people think of me in their own head? That is not real. It doesn't matter. What's real is when you get yourself bit by a rattlesnake. Like, that has a dose of reality to it, and I'm not giving any time to this other noise I had poisoning my thoughts. You with me so far? So getting bit by the rattlesnake opened up some rituals I was a part of that I can explain later, and I was going back and forth to San Francisco, and I was filled with vim and vigor and pride looking back, and that swell of energy is what brought me to Eastern Washington. And I moved to the middle of nowhere, Eastern Washington, and life got really, really, really hard for a bunch of reasons I won't share now, but everything was stressful. I mean, a total nightmare. And I bought a newspaper. So for 10 years, I was shrunk inside myself, just trying to keep money coming in, overlapping deadlines, medical issues right and left. My partner had a tumor in his spine that required 3 different major surgeries to get through. He currently lives in nightmare levels of pain, doesn't sleep, cramps all the time. Update now, I have prostate cancer, so I'm dealing with that. But the thing that long story short, I got rid of the paper, thank God. That was crazy making. Got into real estate, and about a year or so ago, well, the reason I got rid of the paper is because I'm getting too old. That was a major part of it in terms of quality time left. I'm like, I don't want to live my life like this. What is that about? So I got into real estate ostensibly to make money, and I started saying that I wanted to be a fully self-expressed real estate agent, not knowing what that really meant, but knowing that I hadn't been fully self-expressed for 10 years since moving to Eastern Washington, and knowing, as you've heard, that my previous life I was fully self-expressed. I was on fire. I was involved in multiple different things. I had, well, like I said, gallery shows and this, that, and the other thing, and a lot of friends. So I just declared, like, I'm gonna be a fully self-expressed real estate agent. And ever since, things have just been opening up and opening up and opening up. The quality of connection I have with people has been steadily improving. I'm in front of more people now. Just like the soup I'm swimming in is a lot more rich and nourishing. Does that make sense? And then some other things have happened, but I had an impactful conversation Monday afternoon. And then Monday night, I was telling Chad about it, and he said, you should tell people that when they have coffee with you, their life is going to change.
Oof.
And
Yes.
I thought about it for a second, and I was like, oh my God, that's totally it. For this whole time, I've been bitching about being in the wrong place and being broke and blah, 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 blah. But again, you can interrogate me about the details later. Just please know that my entire previous life, from 1994 until I moved here in 2013, was literally every day having multiple conversations that were totally intentionally designed to change people's lives. I was a massage therapist for 16 years. I've done a ton of seminars and workshops. I've been in loads of situations where the whole focus was transforming life itself. And I don't mean a process of changing life. I mean like life changes now because of the conversation we're having. You dig what I'm laying down here? So it sounds kind of funky because it only happened like 4 days ago, but I feel like I found, rediscovered myself because of all the things that have been happening leading to that. And I swear to God, the whole rest of my life, I'm only focused on these life-changing conversations. That's what gives me joy. It's what fills me up. And to this minute, every minute, I suffer with total mind-numbing, libido-sucking anxiety as I wrestle with it every day. I texted someone yesterday that I felt like dying because I don't want to handle the feeling of being anxious anymore. I mean, that's what I suffer with. And when I'm changing lives and focus on that, on what I would loosely call transformation, it takes away all that anxiety, and I get the satisfaction of knowing that the life I change today is going to ripple out. Like if you and I have a conversation, let's hypothetically say, and you walk away with an improved perspective, it means that the next person you interface with is going to benefit from your improved perspective. So I believe in a holographic universe. I believe in the butterfly principle, whatever you want to call it. But I'm all about changing lives, and if that's what I'm doing for the next 30, 40 years until I kick the bucket, far out. So I've had a total renaissance just in the last 4 days about this very topic.
I need to have coffee with him.
Seriously.
I love it. Yeah.
If you want to have coffee with Val Logan, check the comments. You'll find him. You
I'm
respond
game.
to Facebook messages, right?
Yeah, I'm game.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to kind of pick up on that because something that was teased in the promotional material for today. Melissa, you introduced the term intention, and I wanted to share. So intention is personal to me because this was something I found on the Oregon coast in around 1998. But a mentor now, who was just a poet and artist for me, but her name is Marianne Rodmacher, and she wrote this observation. It's kind of a poem and an aphorism, but her thing is live with intention, walk to the edge, listen hard, practice wellness, play with abandon, laugh, choose with no regret, continue to learn, appreciate your friends, do what you love, live as if this is all there is. And that was her ode to intention and living this life. And I discovered it in 1998, and it kind of dovetailed in with the goals as Val's talking about discovering that purpose and intention. And that's the same thing I've gone through is, you know, dealing with the stress, the anxiety, what am I doing this right? I just always have to go back to this and remember it's making a decision and then doing it. And then looking for the opportunities to laugh and choose and learn and do all these things and not get caught up in what others may be thinking or what may happen, because at that moment is when you have to be able to act. And so again, I just went through that with a friend passing last week, and it was every day it was just get up, and every action was intention. What do I need? What's the most important priority right now? And then what can I change so I can go do what's most important? So anyway, I wanted to inject that into the conversation.
No.
Gosh, I've been being inspired by everybody here, so I kind of have a lot of notes. One thing that I didn't have written down, but might be just slightly contextual to take away of you know, when we are feeling so critical of our own movements, I think something very interesting to look at is dance. Because when you see professional dancers, because they've been told to you that they're professional and because they have confidence in their movements, you think it's really spectacular. But if you really dissect any sort of dance movement, it's absurd. All of them are absurd. They really are. Like, if you really look at them, they're all crazy. It's just the intent and the way they're presented to you. And so, I don't know, I invite you to look at some dance videos and then see whether or not, you know, if you just had the bravado to dance with intention, I think everybody would take them a different way. So I think that really is the key to how people receive it. Everything we do is ridiculous. And it's just how intentional or confident we do them in. So I don't know, just look at some dance videos, and I don't know if that will be meaningful to you or not. But I think that with this topic, there's so much to dissect, because it really is presenting kind of the ultimate question of how many moments, you know. So it's not only putting into the big picture, the elephant in the room, that we're all have definitive moments, but making it an intentional. And I think that anytime that we go up to that moment, it gets a little bit scary, whether it's just the idea, whether it's something very personal that's happened, you know, whatever that is, we have moments. I think every 10 years, we even kind of get these moments of like reflective, like, oh, wow, like, you know, we kind of go into this different state. And something that I always find really comforting in that is that there are people, so if you watch Dumb Ways to Die, there are literally people who walk under a tree, get hit by an acorn, and will die. And then there are people who get completely attacked by something, burned down in a building, and then they make it out with minimal. I think that whatever we want to call it, you know, there's a wide breadth of things to call, you know, is it divinity? Is it the ultimate plan? Like, there's just so many different pathways, but at the end of the day, there is a time, and then there is not a time. And if it's not your time, then you're in your brilliant moment. You're in your full life. You're in your everything. Because right now, you're ordained to live. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. And it doesn't matter how insignificant or how giant it is. You can be in the eye of the storm, which I guess is calm, so on the outside of the storm for a really long time, and live.
Yeah.
Because we just have a number. And I think in that, like you were saying, when it's really hard to feel like, how do I experience this joy? How I want to experience this moment. I want to be intentional. I want to believe that this is leading to my best for all the people that I love and I carry and the people who I carry on my shoulders. And I think that regardless of what you call that, and I found, great resource in both The Secret, Jesus, the universe. I've practiced long enough that I'm in a season also where some of that is being greatly tested of like, is everything conspiring against me? But I know that's not true. I know it is not true. And I know it is not true for any of us. And so I think that that's when, regardless of what that word is for you, regardless of what that book looks like to you, to just plug in as much as you can in that and just know when things do seem scary, when it seems like it's impossible to separate kind of the impending doom from the present moment, that the impending doom has a whole host of things besides you that is holding it off and calling it another name and saying it's not for you. Because I think that really is how the universe works. It really, really does want our best good. And we all do have an expiration date. And we don't get to decide what that is or know it. And we just have to live our fully expressed, most alive being for every moment that we're given, knowing that I could pass under this tree and it could kill me. Or I could survive the most atrocious car wreck and walk away. That our destiny isn't in our hands. Just the moments that we're given to be ourselves, to be alive. So, also I think maybe to the greater question, I think all of us have a lot of different people in our lives. And sometimes even the people that we want to cherish and hold close the most are not available for us to do in that way. And so I continually ask myself, in not living for other people and but if all those moments were gone, even when someone's treating me in a way that I'm like, and sometimes that does mean to give up some moments. But it also does mean that sometimes in times where I want to express something different, I ask myself, if all the moments were gone, how would I wish I responded? And honoring that portion of life that we know is coming. And so it doesn't mean to extricate boundaries. It doesn't mean to, there's an honor you have, and sometimes it is that if all came push to shove, I would feel okay in the silence because I know what it meant now. So all of that to be considered, but how would I feel if all the moments were gone? And I make a lot of decisions with that. If they were gone, how would I act now?
Right on.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks
Gary,
for the notes.
Gary, slide up to the table so the camera can see you.
Oh, I'm
Gary's
camera
getting
shy. No, I'm.
You're an actor. Hello.
Life is short, and, that's the old saying. And then there's a guy that says, oh, you need to exercise every day, walk every day, because that's so healthy for you, and that's so good for you, and you'll live longer and everything. I can't. And then there's an old Chinese guy that goes, your heart only has so many beats. So which one do you listen to? Which one do you strive for? Which one do you aspire to? I think all of them. I mean, and then you mentioned Jesus, of course. Well, I'm there, but I think God's in charge of my life, and there's nothing I can do about anything. I think He has a plan, and I can't argue with it. In other words, I can't change it. I can't So it kind of is like a cop-out for a lot of people listening to what I just said. They'll go, oh yeah, right, blame it on God, oh, yeah. You know, but actually, that's the way I live, and it seems to help. Because I don't stress as much, because I know, Lord, you know what I need, and you know, and I believe in the Bible, the Word of God, and so if it says, if I feed the birds, and they don't have to worry about where they get their food, how much more will I take care of you, my child, you know? So, anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Can you say a little bit more about the birds? What'd you say? If I take care of the birds, what?
If God feeds to all the creatures of the earth and takes care of them, they don't worry about where their next meal's coming from. They're taken care of. God cares for them. So how much more does he take care of us, because we're more important than the creatures that he made, because we're made in his image.
With a soul.
Yeah, with a soul and everything. And so I think that means a lot.
Yeah, got it.
Well
Thank you.
I have something real quick. For me in my life, I was raised with, my dad owned a lot of record labels and worth a ton of money. And I remember every day I'd wake up and I'd be like, man, if I could just have my dad there. And my dad was going to work thinking, man, I'm doing a great job for my son, right? And my kids. And I remember thinking, I'm never going to be that person. Never. But yet I find myself being an entrepreneur, and you have a wife, you have kids, you have responsibility, and I think it's to veer back to what you're saying is like, you're supposed to take care of all these things. Okay, I have to work, I have to make money, especially if you're like us and you're, you know, someone's not paying your salary, you have to go out and make your money, right? So anytime you're not working, you're not getting paid. And then you have family time. Like, when is your self time? When is like time for you to really, like, I've had to just intentionally, last year I didn't do it at all. I worked like 8 months straight without a day off, running like 4 different businesses. And now I'll take like an hour a day and just be like, man, I need to sleep, or I need to watch a show. I need to just like be able to recharge. Because I think what's hard is, as a business owner, when you're switching over, it's hard to be a business owner because you're thinking, how do I fix things? How do I solve things? How do I not allow emotion into the situation? But then when you have a family, you're supposed to come home and be a husband and be listening and be intentional, you know, and be with your kids and spend time, because everybody does need their time. And how do you spread that out in such a way that everybody's getting what they're needing, including yourself? Because I feel like a lot of times with me, I'm so fixed about making money and working things out and what's gonna be the next thing, that when I get home and I'm listening to something, I'm not really listening to something. I'm half listening. It's not that I'm doing it on purpose, but it's just because my mind has focus on other things, and how do you turn that off? You know?
It's a really good question, and I think I would pose back to all of us, what's, you know, really prioritizing what's important versus what is urgent. So we usually waste our time on things that are urgent. So emails, calls, meetings, we all do it, scrolling. But what's really important is the connection, the purpose, the dreams. And that is not just for the people around us, but that's for ourselves as well. And if you follow me at all on social media, you know I am all about self-care. Why? Because of my story. I did not take care of myself. So my health was down the drain. And I learned over time, I had to take time to do things for myself, for my health and my well-being. If I did not do that, I could not take care of our kids to the best of my ability. I could not serve those around us to the best of my ability if I was not taking care of myself. So asking yourself, what are the important over the urgent? What is that for you in your life? Not someone else, not your spouse, not your kids, but for you.
That's exactly why I yelled at the cat this morning, because I was fighting with LinkedIn, just trying to change my email address, and they were going through this process, like, sign into your device. I don't have another device. And he's meowing, and so instead of like letting him be a cat, I'm so focused on the LinkedIn battle, and yeah. And I do, there's so many urgent things that come up that steal your time. I'm making sure that like Sundays are my down day. And I just sit, I play Zelda, I take a walk in the park. And I feel guilty because I'm like, I'm supposed to be working, I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be hustling.
Yeah.
But if I don't take that time, I will burn out and I'll be no good. I'll just be in bed, like, nothing will get done. So, yeah, I hear ya.
We're gonna start to put a bow on this to wrap things up, getting close to the time. So I know everybody, this is like, I'm loving this, like the energy, like everything in the last 30 minutes, like I've wanted to just jump in. And actually I'll use that as one of the best things that I have learned in the last couple of years is to let that go. One of the things that robbed me the most of living in the moment of whatever moment I was in was that Rob would say something that I wanted to, oh yeah, like agree with, disagree with, doesn't matter. I just had a thought that I wanted to share, and I would be holding that thought while Mandy talked, while James talked, while Gary talked, while Melissa talked again, while Meredith talked, and I'm missing out on the actual moment that's happening in front of me. And I think whether it's the kids, oh man, I need to get up and move. All of these different, there's so many things that you just shared that are huge. When we're not living in the moment, we're thinking about, oh, I gotta fix my LinkedIn profile. Oh my gosh, I still need to pay the bills. And granted, pay the bills, like that is important. But if all you're doing is thinking about all the things that you need to do, and oh, I really wanna respond to that thread, and you don't get the chance to live in the moment. And then when you start to live in the moment, you can start to make choices, and you have to choose. So many times we moved here to Spokane to be close to Melissa's family, which meant we chose not to live close to my brother in Alabama, not to live in New Jersey where my parents were. You can't choose everything. You have to choose, like, and I'm gonna sacrifice something to get this. But it's all a choice. I want to give you a chance to, any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yes.
Excellent.
So I love to give practical advice. I think it's really important so you can walk away and be like, what do I do with this information? So what if you started with figuring out just one time a week you can do something practical? Like call someone to have a meaningful conversation. Do what Val does. And have coffee, have tea with somebody, but really listen to their story, really make them feel seen, heard, and valued. It is so dang important, okay? It's so dang important. I'm looking at all of you on social media. Do something for yourself. Take a walk, read a book, start the book that you want to write. Start that darn thing. Stop thinking about it. And then, it's so important to start writing a list of QRT moments. QRT moments are quality time remaining. Don't write a bucket list. The bucket list is a big thing, like going to Europe or living in Poland. Hello, I'd love to do that. I'm Polish. But the QTR moments are the smaller things. What if you set a night, I'm looking at you, Zane, where you, as a family, you have dinner together at the table, no screens, no TV going on in the background. You're there to have a meaningful conversation with your kids and your wife. That is a huge QTR moment. Start there. Start with just grabbing your journal in the morning and just writing all your thoughts. Just throw them out there. Not paragraphs, just throw them out there. That's a QTR moment. What is the one thing that you're gonna do this week to have a QTR moment? That's what I'm gonna leave you with.
Awesome.
I want to say two things. In the interest of time, one, I've helped both my mom and my dad through the end of their life, and you know what the important thing is?
You were there.
Bottom line, community. That's why I do everything I do. I'm building community, so just in the frame of advice, focus on that. B, I totally acknowledge you for being willing to share your vulnerability in a room full of people. It's a rare thing, it takes a lot of courage, and it makes all the difference. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your actual real story.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And I will take that and take it to the next level because I get the privilege of going home with her. Like literally, when we were planning for this, I was like, oh, July 11th, that's my wedding anniversary. Maybe I need to find somebody to host in my place. And then when we were looking at schedules, it lined up that she could be here as a guest on. And I was like, that's our anniversary. And I expected it to be like, oh yeah, let's just be quality time, just the two of us. But this is something that we enjoy doing. And so for me, it's a huge privilege. And I want to thank you for making this an aspect of how we celebrated our time together. And I want to echo the sentiment that I think you've heard from everybody is really, it would be easy to be overwhelmed with all of this. Pick one thing. Pick one thing. And one thing that I selfishly, come on a Friday. Come be a part of the conversation in the room. The energy to actually physically be in the room versus looking at us on a screen. It's amazing. I see a lot of nods around. This is like, it's a cool place to be. Come on a Friday. Be a part of something here locally. Jeremy Niffen hosts amazing conversations on Tuesdays. It's an every other Tuesday. Find those amazing. Come to the R Connect on next Tuesday. Like there's so many opportunities, but pick something that would move the needle a little bit for you. Commit to it. Make yourself and tell somebody, invite somebody to be a part of it with you. Hey, come with me. I'm a little bit freaked out. We are kind of a weird bunch, so like bring somebody with you so you don't feel all like alone. But get involved in doing something that allows you to take that step of intentionality, whatever that might look like for you. We already said, but we're here at Action Business Furniture, so come check them out. Even if it's not when we're here, come by a desk, do something like that. I think that covers.
Shout out to Genevieve, spoke up in the group. She'll be our guest next week.
Genevieve is our guest next week. Also, I'm glad that you said that, and Genevieve, thank you for chiming in. Next week we're starting our themed approach. So next week we're focusing on youth and young people, young entrepreneurs. We're hoping, maybe Genevieve will even weigh in, although we're past time. But we're hoping that her 10-year-old will be able to join her as a co-presenter. We're going to try to get kids involved. So if you have a young entrepreneur in your life, invite them to come be a part of this conversation. If you know somebody that's moving the needle for our next generation, invite them to be here, part of that conversation. But definitely, Genevieve, looking forward to that. And Mike, away we go.
Thank you for spending this quality time with us this week, and we hope that you'll join us next week. Every time you spend time with us is quality time. It's very meaningful, and to make it even more meaningful, we need you to understand that sharing is caring. It helps us out a lot. If you don't click that bell icon, that's the only way that we can guarantee you're going to get even more meaningful and quality information in your feed. Till next time, folks. Bye!